Today, let's take a look at fiction. Fiction is a form of writing that uses imaginary events and people, even if they feel real. A fiction narrative is a story that covers a sequence of events. Fiction comes in many different forms, from realistic to complete fantasy. So for example, we have these boys over here, from The Outsiders. While they look like real people, and the events that happen in the story also feel like things that could really happen, they're made up, so they're fiction. Fiction can be really out there. For example, in Guardians of the Galaxy, we have a talking tree named Groot, a man who hasn't been on Earth in decades, and a planet and spaceship that, as far as I know, are also made up. The main elements of a narrative are the plot, the conflict, characters, setting, and the theme. While we can go deeper into all of them, we're just going to take a brief look for now. The plot is a term that we use to describe anything that takes place in the story. It could happen to the characters, it could be about the setting, the environment, it's anything that happens in that writing. So for example, over here we see a tornado. While it has to do with the environment, it's an action that happens in the story. On this side, Han Solo and a Wookiee named Chewbacca have a conversation. Yep, talking is an event. Over here, the Batmobile is racing through the streets of Gotham. That's also an event. The characters are the people inside the story. The protagonist is normally the person that we're rooting for. They're our main character. A lot of the time there's more than one, and we tend to identify with them. The antagonist is the person who opposes the protagonist. They could be another person, it could be oneself, nature, or society. We tend to root against them because they are in conflict with our main character. So here's an example of a protagonist. We have Luke Skywalker. So Luke Skywalker is a person who always tries to do the right thing, even when that isn't easy, and it's a lot easier to do the wrong thing. He's trying to do the right thing, so he's our hero, our protagonist. On the other side, we have a man named Darth Vader. Darth Vader goes against Luke Skywalker. He's doing the wrong thing. I mean, he's only trying to destroy the universe. So, as a result of him going against Luke Skywalker, our protagonist, he's our antagonist. So we also have round versus flat characters. A round character is one who changes from the beginning of the story to the end. They learn a lesson or something from the theme. This comes as a result of what has happened to them in the plot. A flat character is one who remains the same. So, in Batman, we have young Bruce Wayne. He suffers a tragedy, and he goes from being afraid to Batman. A man who also, while not necessarily the happiest, tries to do the right thing. On the other side, a flat character that we have is Superman. He starts off awesome and doing the right thing, and ends doing the right thing and staying awesome. The conflict is a problem in the story. This is what our protagonist faces throughout the plot. There's three major types: person versus person or a group of people, person versus nature, or person versus themselves. So, person versus person, we have Batman versus Superman. Two different people that are clearly not happy with one another. Person versus nature. In Percy Jackson, he interacts with the water around him. Remember earlier when we saw that tornado? That's nature. Person versus themselves. In Star Wars, Anakin Skywalker tries to stay away from the dark side, tries to not be evil. However, he has that evilness within him, and soon we see that he becomes a villain. The solution is the answer or the resolution to the story's conflict. So if you're watching Superman and you see that newspaper at the end saying that he saved the city, we know that the conflict has been resolved. Settings where the story takes place. It could be in your house, your friend's apartment, it could be the morning, night, it could be when it's hot or cold out, and all these work together. Think about it, when you walk to school in the summer compared to the winter, it's a very different experience. So, some settings that I thought of was the jungle. I hate bugs, so I can tell you for a fact, the jungle would not be my favorite setting. We have outer space. Sometimes things happen on the moon, and as far as we know, nothing lives on the moon, at least to our knowledge. We could also see this old-time car. You might see this car and say, that definitely doesn't look like the year I'm living in. So it probably takes place in the past. Theme is a lesson learned in the story. It's a message, and normally our main character learns something from it. It helps them become a round character. So, we have the Great Dark Knight. While Batman isn't happy, we already know he goes from being scared to very brave. So let's locate the character, setting, conflict, solution, and theme in this story. One day in school, Batman tells Robin a secret in absolute confidence. Without meaning to, Robin tells Wonder Woman. Soon the entire school knows about Batman's secret. Robin finds Batman sitting alone at lunch and apologizes. Batman says that while he's hurt, he forgives Robin. Soon, the Flash and Green Arrow come to sit with Batman. Robin realizes that to keep friends, you must respect the things they tell you. Pause the video. Try to find a few characters. Try to find the setting, conflict, solution, and theme. So I went ahead and highlighted it. Our characters are Batman and Robin. They're our main ones anyway. We also have Wonder Woman, the Flash, and Green Arrow as secondary characters. The setting is school. The conflict is, without meaning to, Robin tells Wonder Woman that secret. The solution is, Robin realizes the mistake and apologizes. The theme, Robin realizes that to keep friends, you must respect the things they tell you. So, while the entire notion of fiction is that it's made up, there's a lot to learn from, especially in that lesson learned.